How many times have you come out to start your car, truck, or van and heard the dreaded... That happened to me this morning. Stay with me and I'll tell you what happened.
If you're not prepared, you don't know JAKZ, Prepper JAKZ.
Hi everyone, John here for Prepper JAKZ with this week's videocast edition of JAKZ FAKZ. Now, my neighbor called me about 3:30 this morning to ask me why my park lights were on my van. Now, I didn't get the call because I only have a couple numbers saved for emergencies that can get through in the middle of the night. This way, I sleep pretty soundly. But I got her text message when I woke up and saw what was happening. It's still a phenomenon as to why my lights were on because I didn't turn my lights on, my doors were closed, and my van has a special function that turns the batteries off after 20 minutes to keep the batteries from dying. For some unknown reason, my battery died. However, I was prepared. Back in my RV transportation days, it was suggested by a good friend of mine named Daniel to get a portable power or jump pack. And I did. I used it a few times while transporting RVs, but I've used it more for helping people with dead batteries and jumping off their vehicles than I did in transporting RVs. So, in the midst of jumping off my van this morning, it came to me that we're also hosting an alternate power source seminar this weekend being conducted by a local naturalist and minimalist, Mr. Bill Canterbury. No relation to Dave Canterbury. Not only are we hosting an alternate power source seminar, but jump packs are an alternate power source, and I thought I would do a video on them. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail so as that I don't take away from our instructor seminar this weekend, but I do want to touch on a few things. As you can tell from these pictures, if you were to Google jump packs or slimline power packs, there are many different versions out there to choose from, as well as a ton of different price points. The jump pack that we have is the Schumacher XP2260. As you can see, it has a few miles on it, and it's been used a few times. I purchased this pack from Lowe's Home Improvement a couple years ago for, I believe it was about $120. Researching online, and it appears to be the going rate just about everywhere, including Walmart and Amazon. Let me give you a closer look at this thing. The first thing I can tell you is the Schumacher XP2260 has a sealed lithium-ion battery, which is good for storing it in any position, like normal, on its side, on its back, or however you need to store it. However, with any item that has a battery, it is always safer to store it in the upright position. The fact that it is sealed just means if it happened to get knocked over for any reason, you would not have to worry about it leaking and causing any acid damage. That being said, I cannot tell you the last time I actually charged this pack completely. I think maybe last year when there was a threat of a hurricane here in the Carolinas, but when you push this button, it gives you a percentage of how much battery you have, and currently, as you can see, I have 96% of battery, and I know I have only used this about maybe 4 times to jump off the battery to my generator, and of course the van this morning. For this pack to hold that much of a charge for almost a year, that's pretty impressive in my book. Moving right along, this is the off-on switch for the jump starting function and to use the USB port. Unfortunately, on this model, there is only one USB port. However, there are 2 12-volt ports and 2 110-volt receptacles you could also use to charge USB devices if you have those converter plugs. This is the switch for the 120-volt onboard inverter that you need in order to make the 2 110-volt receptacles work. It also comes with a convenient and bright light with 3 LED bulbs to use for lighting, a work area such as under a car or truck hood when it's dark out, or just a dark room if the power goes out. Nice added feature. On the back, you can see the molded pocket here. This is for storing the air hose for the air compressor feature. This is the switch for it and the gauge to see how much air you have, as well as how much air you may use for inflating footballs, basketballs, bicycle, or auto tires. The research I did to making this video says it can hold up to 150 pounds per square inch. That's enough to inflate a semi-truck tire. It also comes with this little black bag that keeps the included attachments for inflating other items as well. These are the clamps that you would use to jump off yours or someone else's vehicle. As a safety reminder, remember to always put the ground or negative or the black clamp on first, then put on the red lead. This prevents any accidental sparking against any metal accidentally being touched while connecting the clamps. Once the pack is no longer needed, disconnect the positive or the red lead first, again for the same reason as when connecting, to avoid any accidental sparking or arcing which could cause undue injury. Remember to always put the clamps back on these provided holders to keep them secure and out of the way. If you don't have a jump pack or you're thinking about getting one, be sure to do your research in order to determine your exact need for a jump pack. If I reflect back, I don't regret my purchase of this Schumacher XP2260 because of everything it can do in the event of a power outage or a roadside emergency. But given the fact of what I've actually used it for, I sometimes wonder if a slimmer version used strictly for jump starts would not have been better. Considering I always want to have multiple uses for items that I have, I believe I made the right choice in buying this particular jump pack, and in the end, being confident in my purchase for the reason I need the tool is what determines a good or bad purchase to me. So that's it for this week's JAKZ FAKZ, folks. I sincerely hope you got something out of it. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and tap the bell to be reminded when we post new video content. We would also sincerely appreciate it if you'd tell all your friends and your families about us too. Also, if you haven't done so, we'd appreciate it if you'd follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at PrepperJakz. That's JAKZ. And lastly, if you're not local to Fayetteville, North Carolina, you can find us almost all of our products on our website, which is www.prepperjakz.com. So until next time, remember, if you're not prepared, you don't know JAKZ. That's PrepperJakz. And we thank you for your support. Thanks for watching, everyone.